Clase ready. Pitch to Shaw. Fly ball center field. Thomas back some more. Reaches out and he makes the catch. Porter will tag. Ball game. Cubs win. Shaw wins it. And the Cubs continue to roll.
Hey, what do you say? The Cubs are going to win today. Matt Shaw, the hero, once again, his second walk-off of his young season. And we're here to talk about it all on Cubs Postgame Live, presented by Yuengling, America's oldest brewery. It's Elise Menaker, Jason Kipnis. And Jason, hey, we've said it. The Cubs, they can win any which way.
Yep, they proved
the offense, not necessarily the highlight, but you got the hits when you need it. Matt Shaw coming up big.
Found a different way.
Yeah.
That's a sign of a good team. That's what we've been talking about all series long, is that you find different ways to win games. Can be offense, can be defense, pitching, bullpen. Tip of the cap to Cade Horton tonight.
Absolutely.
What a start. We were looking forward to him and seeing how he responded from his Houston one. He looked good tonight. 7
innings, 5 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts on 90 pitches. So he was efficient, throwing strikes, getting the job done.
Bullpen was the bullpen again.
Absolutely.
Another 3 innings of 0 hit ball.
Yeah, and which is huge, especially when, they're trying to find those hits. What can you say about a team where you have the veterans, you have the younger players, like another situation where Matt Shaw, a younger player, that was some good contact, some of his better contact of the season, steps up in the big situations.
No one could hear us, but in the studio I was screaming, do not try to pull this ball, right?
Yes, you did say that.
That is a veteran approach to Class A right there. This guy is throwing 100, 101 mile an hour cutters that is going away from you. Do not try to catch up to it. Do not try to pull it. Go with the pitch. That is the best way to approach a guy who throws like that. And not even just, that wasn't a cheap shot either. That was on a line to the warning track almost.
Yeah, that was one of those no-doubter that'll get the run in. And Matt Shaw's been really good at going the other way. And so even that little tweak, like you're saying, we're not trying to do too much.
Fantastic veteran approach right there. So I don't know if that's just him on his own or they're talking. I'm sure they're like, everybody's communicating in the dugout. What have you seen from this guy? What's he got tonight? Or what do I look for? Maybe Tucker or someone's coming over to him and be like, hey, this is how you do it. But that is an outstanding approach to take into that at-bat right there.
And something interesting, I think our whole crew working together here, producers, Matt Shaw had a different bat in that final at-bat. So the 4th inning, this is what we're going to show you. This was earlier in the game. So take a look at the wood and the color of it and what he's using. And he's one of the guys trying to find some hits in a bat today. And so earlier in the game, and then later in the 10th, totally different bat. So good eyes by everyone here at Marquee catching on to that. And sometimes just a feel thing, right?
You try any and everything. Sometimes, even if it's for one at bat, or sometimes just to like get a different feel, reset the brain a little bit, be like, this is uncomfortable. Instead of thinking about what pitch I'm going to swing or don't chase at it, I'm just thinking of how uncomfortable this bat feels in my hand. So I'm not thinking about what pitch is coming. So it's kind of like a little psychology game to yourself a little bit. So I like it. I've done it before. It's great.
And a good switch. Even for
doesn't always work.
It doesn't.
It
in this case, it did. But I think also for a younger player to do that, to have the confidence, and even in a big situation, right? To be like, I'm going with this. I don't care.
To think, because you're like, okay, big situation, possible walk-off, go with my bat. Go with what I'm comfortable. But if it's not working, just mix it up. That was great. Find one that works. Find the one that, try something new. If the same stuff is not working, try something new.
Can you describe on a team when you have a mix of veteran and younger players, how that's a winning combination?
I think it's the perfect amount of energy brought to a day each day, because you have the guys who are experienced that know what they need to get done. That sets the lead for the rookies coming in. Hey, let me follow this example of what I need to get done. Then you have the youth and energy of the rookies that keep it fresh, and they're like, we're so happy to be here. You might have this veteran guy be like, man, everybody's happy to be here. It's a good day or something like that. And so now it's a perfect give and take between the youth and the old guys.
Old
guys. There's really not that many
veteran.
A couple of veterans. Yeah, let's go with veterans.
Yes. You had 6 career walk-offs. So can you describe like a moment? Can you imagine this is his first year in the big leagues. He even spent some time down in the minors. Yeah, and he's already got 2 walk-offs.
It's the best feeling. It's the best feeling.
Describe what he's like.
You're on cloud 9. You're already playing in a major league game, so you're already happy. You get to hit a walk. You're already coming up in a situation, and when you're a kid in your backyard hitting wiffle balls, you're like, bottom of the 9th, full count, bases loaded. You've already created this moment in your mind 1,000 times, but then to do it in real life, have it come to reality is, oh man, you touch first base, you start looking for who's running out at you. We saw PCA's the first one out there by a mile.
He always is.
I'm surprised. I thought there'd be a little bit more little bit more. There used to be a little bit more kidney punches back in the day. There used to be a little bit more damage done to the midsection where you're like, I'm sorry. But no, it's a lot of fun to hit a walk-off. Everyone's in a great mood. And completed the sweep. This is a great win for them.
Absolutely. Yeah, good point. And it's not easy. Craig Counsell saying it's not easy to sweep, but the Cubs, they did it in this series against the Guardians. So Lindsay is saying goosebumps hearing the crowd through my TV when Shaw walked it off. Wrigley is so special. Cubs in 4. I mean, the crowd has been just fantastic this entire season. So taking a look at the standings, hey, some more separation. At times it's been 2, 2.5. So you got the Brewers back 4, Cardinals 5.5, Reds 7, and Pirates now 14.5. So you win, get the job done, you take care of business, you stay in control. Craig Counsell, he's got it like this. Let's hear from the manager.
Well, they obviously had a lot of lefties in there, like very stark difference from the last start when they faced basically an all right-handed lineup. So it was going to be an important pitch tonight, and he used it well. I thought Reese had a great game. The stolen base in the first inning was, he threw 5 balls or maybe 6 balls to start the game, and to get an out right there and kind of reset you got an out right away was a big deal. So, but then Cade just attacked the strike zone, all 3 pitches working, and he did do a really nice job with the changeup tonight.
We've talked about Cade being a clear-headed competitor, the way you phrase it, and just his ability to learn and take feedback. What can you say about just the way he took last outing, used this week, and then bounced back today?
Yeah, that's what this is all about. I think it's making adjustments. We talked about that before the game. It's about leaving it behind you and staying in the present and not letting it carry over. And I think, and it's learning from failures or things you don't do well. And that's when you're clear-headed. I think you have the great ability to do it, and that's what Cade showed tonight.
What do you think of Matt Shaw's approach there, and just for him to have that moment with this scuffing?
Yeah, I mean, it's Class A is obviously one of the best, and it was he laid off the first slider, which was really well done. And then it's an at bat where you want to be aggressive, and you got to pitch. You just think aggressive. You almost think and swing. You want to swing there, and he squared the ball up really nicely. And I also thought Nico's base running on Michael Bush's ball was nice. It's not easy on that. That's not an easy read. It was a ground ball to the shortstop, and to get to third base, it's not an easy. So it kind of overlooked maybe, but a really nice play.
Yeah, so.
That was from Mooney. Not going to give Mooney's answer to that.
You guys continue to play the type of game that you have to win that day. That's what you've always preached since you walked in here. I mean, how much pride do you take in the fact that they're playing up to that task?
Well, yeah, the Guardians pitched well today, and they didn't give us much opportunity, and because they pitched really well, and we were up to the task on the pitching side with a great start, and some clutch pitches from the bullpen, right? Like the Brazier Jose Ramirez matchup. That's pitching right there, right? Like that's not an easy. That's a tough hitter. The game's on the line, and you make. I think it was an 8 or 9 pitch at bat, and he really made very good. Every pitch was very well executed. So that's a sign of someone who's been there. I think who's done it a little bit. Press did a nice job. Navigating the ninth, and then Chris Flexen, when we put him in the game, it just good things happen, and he's made good things happen by pitching really well.
The play with Pete looked like there was no tag, no touch of the bag.
Yeah.
But then Class A didn't tag him.
Yeah.
So why is he out?
Well, he was called out on the field, and he didn't touch the bag. So. That's a good question. I thought the same thing a little bit, but I'm not sure how they. I think Pete would have had to get back to the bag, I'm not sure. That's a good question. I mean, it's if Pete maybe would have got up and got right to the bag, maybe there's an argument there.
Last night he didn't step on the bag either. It looked like
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Maybe he did.
So your final, the Cubs win in a walk-off fashion, 1-0, and you know who is up watching?
Good teammate.
Yeah, Justin Steele. Shaw, dog. Steele again. Cade Horton, dog.
Oh.
Who else you got, Steele? No, he's onto something there. So, of course, Matt Shaw with the big hit, but we have to acknowledge in a night where the Cubs only had 3, didn't even have a hit there in the 10th to actually score the run.
Manufactured it, though.
And then Cade Horton leading the way in setting up this offense. Just give him a chance, like you said, before the game, right?
I was
Just give your
excited for this
team a
start.
chance
We've been
to
talking
win.
about him since his last start. Last start, 8 hits, 7 earned, 4 walks. Wasn't happy. Couple swear jars.
Yeah.
Last interview. He was excited this one. I wanted to see how he responded, and boy, did he ever.
What is it that when you saw in his last start? Because you have really been saying it. I've been so excited to see him pitch because that is not who he is in that last start where he gave up 7 earned, a couple of home runs, and you just were like, he's going to come out today and he's going to be a lot better.
The way he talked about it was his attitude. And I love that he wanted the ball the next day if he could have taken it. Came out firing. I thought he was at, 97, hit 98 almost a couple times early in the inning. He was amped up for this one a little bit. And I want to give credit too, because in Houston, there were a couple times he got in trouble with some guys on base that led to, I think, 2 3-run shots. That's how important defense comes in. Tip the cap, Reese McGuire throwing out 3 runners tonight. So where he didn't even allow Cade to deal with that, just got him right off the base for him.
Yeah.
That's big time.
And you know what? He's talked about it, and a lot of these pitchers have talked about it, where when there is the defense they have behind them, or in this case in front of them, that it does wonders for their psyche, basically. The bullpen, they continue to be so consistent. So we acknowledge Cade Horton. Great job. Don't give up runs. Bullpen. Everyone comes in. They do their job. They set each other up for success. What stands out to you about this pen that you've seen?
They kind of come at you from all different arms and angles. I think both sides, they're very strong. Pomerantz is throwing up zeros. I mean, look at that. They can play matchup, or they can just say, here's our arms, and we're going to come at you. That's when you know you got a good bullpen. That's a nasty hook right there.
And Chris Flexen has stepped up. I mean, these are big.
They weren't close on some of these curveballs. And this is kind of what we talked about, where you might be catching Cleveland at the right time, and we saw that we gained another game on Milwaukee. These are the games you have to win because you're going to be playing Milwaukee later. You're going to maybe drop a game you didn't expect. So when you're catching a team off, you need to take advantage of these.
Everything's working together.
You're also making them off, too. I want to include that. They played well enough that they're keeping Cleveland off. So it's not just like they're playing a team who's not going well. They kept them not going well.
Well, and I'll highlight one person in particular, Jose Ramirez. He struggled, in this series. Kudos to the pitchers. He's 0 for 21. Last 2 series, he has not gotten a hit.
You do not keep that man down for that long. That is impressive by the pitching staff.
And so that's part of the reason why the damage was limited throughout the series, the Guardians. And 1 was enough. Hey, Clark brought the broom. Sweep, sweep. Cubs winning 3 in a row. Bobby, Clark on top of the scoreboard with the broom after the Cubs win. Pretty much. That's exactly what we just saw. So, Bobby, you nailed it.